I hit the live button. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday Live. And today we have our very good friends, Bradley Maruyama from Allstate Insurance, who has been an amazing resource for myself personally, as well as many of our clients. And I know our radio listeners, they love hearing from Bradley every week about the different tips and tricks that we should know about insurance. So Bradley, welcome to our Friday Live.
All right, thanks for having me today, and happy Aloha Friday to all the listeners.
Yes, and if anyone has any questions or comments, you can just type it in and Bradley will answer them live.
Absolutely.
So Bradley, well, first, maybe some of the people that may not know who you are or how you got into this industry, why don't you give us a little backstory before we get started?
Yeah, a little backstory. So I've been in the business now 16 years, all with Allstate. Pretty much had the same team over the 15 years, which, a lot of clients, they do view that it's not only a good company, but, when people stick with a company, that's saying that, a lot of the culture is really good and they're happy. But to me, in my eyes, retention of employees is retention of customers as well. We build a relationship where it's more of a family based more than just a transaction. But we like to pride ourselves on the moment of truth because, so often we hear, why do I pay my premiums? Well, people pay their premiums to make sure that they get good service, but they also want to make sure that when they do file a claim, are we going to pay out? And an important piece of that that we always talk about on this show is that doing reviews on your policies is so important to make sure that the moment of truth is the moment of truth, because we got to make sure that we have all your needs covered when that fire occurs, when that car accident occurs. So again, 15 years in the business, been working with Team Lally now for 10 years. What's also a little different with us is we have a team of 7 licensed people. So your phone shouldn't be going to voicemail. You always should be getting a live agent, licensed agent, when you do call our office. We have
Now,
2 locations.
I want to go back, Bradley, to this moment of truth, because I feel like this this culture or concept that you and your team live by really is something that differentiates your team. I mean, not only the fact that you guys have worked together for so long and you love going to work and, you guys operate like an ohana or a family, in the office, but maybe give some examples of these moment of truth moments. And I mean, and I'll share a couple of mine because, I mean, over having a decade-long relationship, we've had a few little incidences where you guys have been able to step up and, just show the value of the relationship. But maybe just share a couple so that our viewers can understand the importance.
Yeah, so on this show we always talk about condominium insurance, and people think that it's just black and white. Well, condominium insurance is probably the most complex because every single association has different bylaws. So there was a client recently that was struggling to get this claim resolved from October. I could hear the frustration over the email. Just by writing, I knew this client was frustrated. He goes, "Sir, can you please help me?" So what I did was because we're the professionals, I started contacting the association, the contractor that did the work, and our adjuster. And within two business days, we were able to get his claim resolved. And the moment of truth, right? You're frustrated because your association policy isn't covering everything. The board is giving you the runaround. So why not bring in the insurance professional that can go to bat for you and help you get it resolved? And this guy went from frustrated to, oh my God, thank you so much for stepping in and getting this resolved, because 3, 4, 5, 6 months is kind of long for your claim to drag on. So I was able to use the insurance language as well as getting the association insurance adjuster and the board on the same page to get this claim resolved. But you know, that's a perfect example of the moment of truth. When I call Brad, I'm paying the premium. Is he going to step up and help me get my claim resolved in a timely fashion? And that's kind of what we pride ourselves on.
So he went from frustrated to raving fan in about a day or so.
For 2 days, in 2 days. And again, it took 2 days because I got to get everyone on the same page. I got to make sure everyone knows why Allstate is reaching out to the association insurance. It wasn't my insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It was the association, but you know, just by stepping in and letting them know why our stance is this way and why it's stuck was all the difference.
So we have someone who's commented, Mitzi. She wants to know: are you also licensed in Maryland?
I'm not licensed in Maryland, but what's nice on being on the regional board and national board with Allstate, past national board member, I do have contacts in every state that I'm comfortable with, people in Maryland, in New York, the whole West Coast. So you can reach out to me and I can be an advocate. Even if the claim is in Maryland, I can actually advocate and talk story with that person or representative in Maryland to expedite or advocate, even if I'm in Hawaii.
That's great to know, because I know that we have a lot of clients that will PCS on and off the islands. And it's like, once you have a good relationship with your insurance provider and like, you know, they're going to go to bat for you, you kind of like, you spoil us.
Yeah.
We're like, we need another Bradley wherever we go. Yeah. So that's definitely a nice thing to know that you'll still be there.
Yeah. In fact, we have a lot of people moving to Las Vegas. There's 2 local boys now in Las Vegas. So whenever there's a car accident, this nurse came back to her car in Las Vegas and it was on hollow tile bricks. So she's like, Brad, oh my God, what do I do? So I can still file the claim even if I'm in Hawaii because it's a general 1-800 number. Then I kind of work with the agent up in Las Vegas to let the client know the process from there. But I can still be an advocate even if I'm 5,000 miles away.
That is definitely comforting to know. So I know every week you are calling into our radio show and giving us different tips and tricks. Is there any kind of like hot topics, things that you are seeing over and over again that our viewers or listeners may want to be aware of?
Yeah, so what I do notice is because of this hot housing market, there's some homes that are on the market that may not be in the best condition. They may be knob and tube wiring. Knob and tube wiring is wiring that was done in the 50s and 60s. And insurance companies don't like them because they can cause fires. There's no tripping box that can stop the electricity current from going through if it heats up. So with us at Allstate, we can write them as long as you have the intent, if you're going to go and update it within a year. So knob and tube wiring is usually a no-go with all carriers, but we're going to write it. Pit bulls, we recently lifted our writing guidelines with pit bulls, so we will write people that own pit bulls. And another big one is single wall versus double wall construction. So some people think, oh my goodness, I got a single wall home. We are still pretty competitive with hurricane insurance for hurricane when you're Salt Lake onto the leeward side. Mm-hmm. So I just recently did a Pro City home, single wall construction, and it was $600 per year. Now you take that same home on East Honolulu, you could be looking $1,300 to $1,800 a year. So it's always good to check in with your insurance person when you're going through the qualifying process of your loan, just to make sure that the insurance is not going to price you out of qualifying for this property, because you don't want to go all the way through this process and find out, oh, I need flood insurance or go through the process and find out that your hurricane insurance is going to be triple of what was initially allotted for. So, reach out to
So
your insurance carrier. Yeah,
it's good to check in with you and your team and kind
absolutely.
of give an idea as far as like these are the kind of homes I'm looking at, and what's the range that we should be. Yeah, so you had talked about three things: the knob and tube,
Yep.
that you will insure it, where most companies they will not insure, with the understanding that within 1 year they have to have it all redone and brought up to code, right? So there's
Yes.
that, and then you've got the pit bulls. Tell me more about that. Because I have a little pocket bully. She's kind of in between. But how does that work? Is there just not many companies that will insure you if you have a certain breed of dog?
Yeah, so in a very tiny fine print, there will be exclusions to certain dog breeds.
Okay.
And once upon a time, we did have that exclusion, but I think it's been now 13 months now. We don't have exclusion on breed of dog. So
what does that mean?
in,
Like, if you had a pit bull and your dog bit someone, you would not be covered, or how does that work?
Yeah, there's a liability coverage that usually covers dog bites, but it could. I can't speak for other companies, but during the claims process, they could decline that claim due to the exclusion of the certain dog breed. So for an example,
but Allstate, that has been lifted.
That has been lifted, correct.
For pit bulls, is there any other breeds of dogs that are on your guys' exclusion list?
Yeah, so some common dog breeds will be Akitas, Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Pit Bulls, Shar Pei, I believe. So those 5 are usually on the unwritable list.
So, like when you have a client that has one of those kinds of dogs, and I'm sure that all your clients are very responsible people, how do you advise them so that they are covered? Is there like another solution, or is it just you really got to be a super responsible dog owner and hope that nothing happens?
Yeah, so when we first write the policy, there's an inspector that will go out. It's a third-party inspector, so it's not myself.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go and view the house to see if there's any dogs around. Number 1. Number 2, because this comes up quite often. What if I don't tell my insurance agent that I have a pit bull? Right? So we'll never know, because most people don't realize that they have to let the insurance company know. But again, that's the moment of truth, right? If we don't review the policy and let people know, then when that claim occurs and there's a bad dog bite, they're going to be like, why didn't my insurance agent tell me that my dog wasn't covered for dog bites, for liability?
Yes.
I can tell you this, a lot of property managers now are actually making sure that there is that piece of the policy that shows the property manager that dog bites are covered, and for certain dog breeds now, and if not, they won't rent the property to them. So it is becoming more popular that these property managers like Duke is making sure that there's liability coverage.
Yeah. You know what I did, even though my dog is she's pretty friendly, I put signs up around my house to warn people that there's a security dog on duty. Enter at your own risk. Now, if your clients had that up, how does that work if they've been warned?
Okay, so that's an awesome question. I'm going to have to keep this general because every claim is different.
Yes.
But I did have a similar claim when I first started, a couple of years into my career. And there was beware of dog signs on the front yard and on the gate. It was a renter that had these 2 Rottweilers. Now, the property manager said no dogs allowed, but never visited the property. And there was a burglar that broke into the home, heard the dogs, panicked. He hit the garage door. The dogs chased the burglar out of the garage. But the dogs didn't hit the burglar. The dogs went after a little girl that was across the street dribbling a ball. And so in this case, which they blocked us from what was going on, locked our office. But they did go after the property manager, the owner of the home, and the renter. So even if you have these signs out, it still could put you at risk.
They should have gone after the burglar too. Did they not catch this man who caused?
They didn't catch the burglar. But so it's a good example that even if you take all the precautions,
Yes,
from property manager to the renter, you could still be
anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yes, so keep an eye on those dogs and train them well. And then I think the third one you had mentioned was like the single wall construction versus the double wall, as far as like the pricing differentiation depending on what part of the island that the home is on.
Yeah.
And why is that?
So we can offer 3 carriers, and one of the 3 carriers underwrites their policies different than the other 2. So for an example, ICAT is that carrier. They go based off a wind model, and they're saying from Salt Lake to Mililani, the wind is much less than a coastline like Kahala to Portlock or from Eva Beach to Waianae. So the premiums from Salt Lake to Mililani on a single wall constructed home are very, very affordable. Now we take that same carrier and we go to East Honolulu, they're double the price of a Zephyr or Palomar insurance. So Palomar and Zephyr still look at single wall construction versus double wall. And they don't go off of wind patterns. So when we go to the East Honolulu, we'll probably place the insured with Palomar or Zephyr insurance though.
Well, it's good to know that you understand the different carriers and the affordability, and you're doing this this research and the shopping for your clients, depending on where they're searching or the kind of home they plan to buy. I guess one other thing before we wrap it up, on the most recent show, you had talked about the importance of updating your policy. Can you explain to our viewers why that would be important?
Yeah. So a lot of people are doing renovations right now. I mean, you go to Home Depot and Lowe's, it's packed in there. So if you're upgrading your kitchen from maybe sheet vinyl to ceramic tile and upgrading your cabinets, that's a good time to let your insurance carrier know that, hey, I made an extension or I did upgrade my flooring and cabinets. Because if we don't know that it's being upgraded or extended upon, we're not going to increase that coverage because we don't know. There's not something in a computer system that says, oh, Adrienne just renovated her home. It's important to let us know when you're going to do these renovations or adding on PV panels or getting married and getting a wedding ring. Because if the insurance carrier doesn't know, some of these gaps could be uncovered. And that's when it puts the insurance agent in a bad bind to say, oh, I'm so sorry, Adrienne, your wedding ring's not covered. Or that extension, we didn't know about the extension, so we didn't increase your dwelling coverage. So like we say at the end of every show of the Team Lally radio show is, reach out to me. I can do complimentary reviews and make sure that you have the right coverages in place.
Yeah. So like if you don't give the update to Bradley, if your house burns down, then you're going to get, carpets replacement instead of if you've done really nice tile or like the wood laminate or that what is it, the vinyl. We see a lot of those upgrades, but if you don't know, then you're just going to get the real basic replacements, and that's no fun.
Yeah, and it's important because I've had 5 fires now in my career, and it's so important because some people don't realize, number one, the stress, and if you can't rebuild that same house, the stress increases. So we have to make sure that your house is covered to what it should be so it can be replaced.
And it's probably not even that much of a difference. It's just a matter of documenting it, and it may be like a couple dollars or 10 to 50 a year. Like it's nothing. It's just the documentation and having the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you guys make it so easy because you got this great team who's always answering the phone, and ready to serve.
Yeah, no, it's so important to have a good team. I was just talking to another agent, how important it was. He once had a group of employees that sat in an office, never spoke to each other. And now he's saying, they're bringing breakfast for each other, having lunch, laughing. The people down the hall can hear them laughing. But that's kind of how we've always prided ourselves on, to have fun, not just make it work. Come here, have fun. You're excited because you're with your friends. And I think that's how work should be, where you come on Mondays and you look forward to it.
Well, one thing I want to compliment you for is I know even through COVID, with everyone was doing this work from home, your team did not want to work from home. They missed each other, and you guys are all in the office being safe, of course.
Yeah.
And just really wanted to have that synergy and to be around each other, even when they were given the option that they could be working from home.
Yeah, we kept the door locked, but everyone was in the office. Made sure our phones were being answered. They could still slide things under the door, but we made sure that the employees were safe.
Yes. You make sure the employees are safe, and you make sure that all of your clients are well taken care of with the moments of truth.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, thank you, Bradley, so much for joining us today and for always being full of helpful tips and tricks on the radio show. And we appreciate and value your partnership.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and just hang on. I'm gonna go ahead and end the broadcast and just hang on real tight.